Yes, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast. We've had to end the other broadcast and have a do-over for this for this West Ham versus Chelsea preview because we were struggling to, to recoup our, sort of continue with the other broadcast. For some reason, I wasn't able to be in command. I wasn't sure whether you guys were still following, whether you guys could still hear me. I tried to do my audio tests and everything just wasn't loading. So I decided, why not have a do-over? Why not have a do-over? And yeah, so allow me to have our audios tested, and then we will get back into the conversation for this Chelsea West Ham game preview. Allow me have the audios tested, make sure everything is still on track. I think we are. We are still on track, although there seems to be a lag between the. There seems to be a significant lag in our delivery. I hope it gets better. I hope it does get better. But there's a very, very significant lag. That's everything to do with the internet. That's everything to do with the internet. Internet speed is just too poor. I think I need to do an internet speed test. Allow me do the internet speed test and see where we stand, because my ISP, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not looking pretty. That's why we're having those lags. So let me see if I can connect to a different network. Actually, it is the same network, but I'm hoping maybe it offers me better results. I don't know. Just hoping. Let me have that one tested as well and see. If that one serves us well, then we'll be good to go. But if it doesn't, then it will be very, very unfortunate. It will be very, very unfortunate. Anyways, I think this is much better. I think this is much better. So Chelsea versus West Ham, or West Ham versus Chelsea. That's what very, very big lag, very significant lag. For those of you that are just joining us, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Please let me know if you can hear me. Do let me know where you're joining us from this beautiful morning as we discuss the latest this preview between West Ham versus Chelsea. It's another London derby for match day 2 of the Premier League. But if you do notice a lag in between my voice and delivery, please do let me know, and we see if we can find a more permanent solution or a different solution for this internet glitch, because I seem to be suffering from very, very low bandwidth as of this morning. That is sort of interrupting our delivery this beautiful morning, where we want to talk about Chelsea versus West Ham. And anyways, Chelsea versus West Ham, like I was saying, West Ham, I think, is one of the poorest teams in terms of performance. When you look at how they started off the Premier League and how they ended the Premier League last season. We are talking about a team that lost by 3 goals to nil to a Premier League newcomer and take nothing and this is not to ridicule Sunderland, because it's not to say they're not worthy of a 3-0 victory. But I mean, for a team like West Ham, you ought to be doing better against a team like Sunderland. These are teams you should be collecting points off. Maybe do not lose. I'm not saying if you can't win, do not lose. That's the case. Yes, you are away from home, but that was a horrendous performance from West Ham on the day. They did not just turn up, and yet they face now an even bigger opponent, an even more formidable opponent. We're talking about a team that beat them home and away last season, because Chelsea beat up against West Ham by 3-0 at the London Stadium before a 2-1 victory at Stamford Bridge. That was in September and February last year, respectively. And then when you look at the last time West Ham beat up against Chelsea, that was by 3-1. You have to go back to August 2023. I think when Mauricio Pochettino was still in charge. Was it? Yeah, Mauricio Pochettino was in charge of Chelsea. And in that very season, then Chelsea also got to beat West Ham by 5-0 at Stamford Bridge. So in terms of recent meetings between the two sides, West Ham have won 1. They've been 1 draw and all 3 victories for Chelsea. And Chelsea have beaten up against West Ham in the last 3 consecutive meetings. So you have that. Then you look at their overall performance that goes back to as far as last season. And in the last 11 fixtures, they only have 2 victories. Those victories coming up against Ipswich Town by 3-1. And then in the other fixture, they beat up against Manchester United by 2-0. Then in those very 11 fixtures, they have about 3 draws. Those draws coming against FC Bournemouth, against Southampton, and against Tottenham Hotspurs. All the others have been losses in the last 11 Premier League fixtures. So that really tells you how poor West Ham have been. I think Graham Potter has struggled with this team. He's struggled to fit in. He struggled to make the best out of it. This summer, they've literally been on a clearance. They've put out so many players. Those that have been let go, including Mikel Antonio, Lucas Fabianski. Those are some of the players that have been, let go of at the club. And last I checked, Edson Alvarez was destined for a move to Fenerbahce, I think on a season-long loan. That deal was in the works. So yes, they've tried to bring in some players like Jean-Claire Todibo, but when you look at some of the outgoings, Mohamed Kudus left for Tottenham Hotspurs, Patrick Kelly released, Aaron Croswell left for Stoke City, Mikel Antonio released, Vladimir Kofol released or left for Hoffenheim on a free, Lucas Fabianski, Danny Ings, Katsuma, Michael Forbes. All these are players that have been released, at the end of their contracts. So in terms of incomings, they still want to bring in more players, but they brought in Jean-Claire Todibo, they brought in Haj Malik Diop, they brought in Daniel Cummings, they brought in Kyle Walker-Peters, as well as Carl Wilson. These have been free agents. They brought in the goalkeeper Mads Hermansen. But again, it's yet to click. It's yet to click in place for West Ham. And that's why I believe that they will struggle against Chelsea. Now, Chelsea did not equally have a good start to their Premier League campaign, given that they were involved in a goalless draw against Crystal Palace. But I mean, it's the icebreaker. It's the first game of the season. It can go either way. We saw Arsenal close to victory, but I wouldn't actually call it cruising. It was a narrow 1 victory against Manchester United on a day that they didn't play really well. So, unfortunately for West Ham, I foresee another defeat for them, and maybe by 3-1 on match day 2 of the Premier League. When I look at Chelsea, very strong team, very a team that is sort of that are going to be very well organized. Do I expect certain changes in Chelsea's starting 11? Maybe, but Robert Sanchez is expected to be maintained in goal. Of course, they had Achepong as well as Trevor Chalobah. I would expect changes there in that centre-back role, depending on who is fully fit. Because if Levi Colwill is injured, Wesley Fofana just returned for injury. I think I would prefer they go with Tosin Aderabio alongside Trevor Chaloba, Marco Korea, and Richie James on the left and right wing fullbacks, respectively. Moises Caicedo alongside Bruno Fernandes, Cole Palmer, Jamie Gittens, Pedro Neto, and João Pedro to start. If there were any changes, maybe William Estaval gets to start ahead of Jamie Gittens. Maybe you give Liam Delap an opportunity to start this one. It's a home game, you know. But yeah, Chelsea at the end of the day, they're just too strong. Wesley Fofana was on the bench for that game, for that goal against Crystal Palace. You have Joel Hato. I mean, he can play in that centre back role. Give him the time. Chelsea just have overall a very, very strong team, very, very strong squad. That's why I'm keeping them to beat up against this West Ham United side. When you look at West Ham United themselves, of course, in their first Premier League outing, they had Mads Hamilton in goal. They had Kilman, Todibo, and Agat. Not naive, but they had Agat. You know, of course, Graham Potter loves to play with the back three. Then Aaron Wan-Bissaka as one of the wing backs on the right side, and then Diouf on the other, Rodriguez and James Ward-Prowse in the middle, followed by Lucas Paqueta. Ahead of them was Nicolas Fulcru. Once again, internet. Apologies on the internet glitch. I do not know. It's just acting up crazy this morning. So, but anyways, I think if you have a player like okay, maybe he wasn't fit, Thomas Tuchel, but he was fit. He was on the bench. I would start Thomas Tuchel ahead of James Ward-Prowse if I'm playing in that midfield. I know James Ward-Prowse can be very, very good on the ball situations, but Thomas Tuchel offers you that goal threat, especially in set piece play. He's a good head of the ball. He pops up in the right positions around the 18 yards box, and oftentimes I will get you a goal or two. So give yourself a chance. But it's a game that I feel and think West Ham will lose by at least 3 goals to 1 going into this weekend. Anyways, the other Premier League games that will come on Saturday will include Manchester City in the early kickoff against Tottenham Hotspur at 2:30 p.m. East African time. Bournemouth will be up against Wolverhampton Wanderers, while Sunderland will entertain Burnley. That's at 5 p.m. East African time. Brentford against Aston Villa, same kickoff time. While in the late kickoff on Saturday, Arsenal will be up against Leeds United before Super Sunday, which will have Crystal Palace up against Nottingham Forest at 4 p.m. while Brighton and Everton will take on each other at the same kickoff time. And then in the late kickoff on Sunday, that will be Fulham hosting. Fulham will host Manchester United. Then Newcastle will be up against Liverpool on Monday. So that's what is to be expected on Premier League Match Day 2 in as far as those fixtures are concerned. Then then quickly, so we'll look to do the other previews tomorrow, but I thought before maybe I sign out is to give you an update on some of the major transfers that are making the rounds as of this morning. I've told you about Edson Alvarez. Sorry. Yes, Edson Alvarez joining Fenerbahce there on a season-long loan. So do not miss out on that in case you do not see him in a West Ham jersey over the weekend. He was one of those very, very prospective players when they signed him, really. But I think he's not lived to, to the expectations. Then also, we've spoken about Douglas Luiz joining Nottingham Forest. That one is a done deal. Then quickly, let's look at the latest from the world of transfer gossip and speculation as of this morning, as compiled by BBC Sport. Quickly, Newcastle are preparing for Liverpool to return with a new bid between 120 to 130 million pounds for the Sweden's forward Alexander Isak. That's according to Team Talk. Wolves are facing a fight to keep Norway striker Jørgen Strand-Larsen, as Newcastle are preparing to sign the 25-year-old for about 60 million pounds. Hi Timan House, when is the transfer window ending? Officially on the 1st of September. That's when it is ending. So we have about what? Should be about 10 days left until the close of the transfer window. So yeah, going to be a very, very busy couple of coming days at Timan House. But it's good to have you on the broadcast this morning. Please do like the broadcast while you're still here with us. Then quickly, Manchester United have informed Napoli that they are open to both a loan with an option or obligation to buy for their Denmark forward, Rasmus Højlund, although Rasmus Højlund would prefer an obligation to buy because he wants those assurances that the team that is taking him is also in for it for the long haul. 10 days is still a lot. Yeah, it is still a lot, but it can also be short depending on where you stand. Especially if you are a kind of team that is for example, waiting for departures before you can bring in signings, it can be a very short time. Because if your players are bought at the very last minute, then your acting in the transfer window becomes tricky. So yeah, it can be very long or very short depending on how you look at it. Then Everton are interested in signing Manchester City and Netherlands defender Nathan Ake to reinforce their defense. That's according to the Mail. I think Galatasaray are also interested in Galatasaray are interested in Manila Kachi. Yes. So then Manchester United are hoping Tottenham will enter the race to sign Argentina winger Alejandro Garnacho, provide competition to Chelsea. That's according to Guinea Sport. Roma's hopes of signing England winger Jadon Sancho for Manchester United may rest on whether his agent reduces his 10 million euros a commission they want for the deal to happen. That's according to Corriere dello Sport. Real Betis are still hopeful of signing Manchester United and Brazilian winger Anthony, but have put the onus on the Premier League club to make a decision over his future. Tottenham Hotspur are interested in French attacking midfielder Magnus Akleuchi from Monaco. At Monaco and Como, and Argentine international Nico Paz. So yeah, Nico Paz is one of those Como players that has really been subject to interest from multiple clubs in this transfer window. But that's according to the Telegraph. Then Spurs are also exploring the possibility of signing France forward Christopher Nkunku from Chelsea, according to Team Talk. Then also Nottingham Forest have contacted Aston Villa about bringing Poland fullback Mati Cash at 28 back to the Premier League. Back to the club, and have also made an offer to sign Sevilla's Spanish right back Jose Angel Carmona. That's according to the Mail. Then West Ham have agreed to loan Mexican international Edson Alvarez to Fenerbahce and are tracking Werder Bremen and Austrian midfielder Romano Schmidt Schmidt 25, and are interested in loans of French midfielder Andy Diouf 22. Then, however, Inter Milan are confident of securing Diouf on a 5-year contract in a deal that could be worth around 25 million euros. Crystal Palace will attempt will attempt to gazump Everton in the race to sign Southampton's Tyler Dibbley by making a 35 million bid for the teenage winger. Like I've told you guys, Southampton want 45 million pounds plus 5 million pounds in easily achievable add-ons plus a future sell-on clause. Then Borussia Dortmund are expected to complete the deal to sign Wolves and Portugal forward Fabio Silva imminently. Dortmund are also trying to sign Canary Chukwuemeka from Chelsea, as well as Anselmon there. So we'll wait and see how that will transpire in the coming days. Anyways, that's it for me for today. It's been a pleasure doing this with you for the last 1 hour and 20 minutes. Yes, actually, last 1.5 hours. The reason as to why I say that is because we had an earlier broadcast that went on for about 1 hour and 20 minutes or so, and because it was interrupted by internet disruptions, we chose to end it and restart another. So it's been a pleasure doing this with you. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay blessed, and bye-bye for now.